Look, we all know the Starcruiser failed. I got the suspects right here. I just need you to tell me who did it. Now we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Okay, so it's gonna be the hard way. How about if we turn up the heat a little bit? Maybe that'll get you talking. Just tell me who did it! Well, it's official. The Galactic Starcruiser is dead. Well, why did it fail? If you believe the internet, it was the price. But I think that's just an easy target. There's a deeper reason the Galactic Starcruiser was one of the shortest lived experiences ever. And today we're reviewing the 4 prime suspects. Now, when the immersive Star Wars Hotel was first announced in 2017, people were genuinely excited. I mean, remember when Disney revealed the real lightsaber? People couldn't wait to see it in person. The press loved it. The fans loved it. People couldn't wait to see more. Just a few months before it opened, it was booked solid. It looked like Disney had another hit on its hands. But then, Disney started promoting it. Which brings us to our first suspect, marketing. I want to go back to the original announcement at D23 in 2017.
That we are working on our most experiential concept ever. It combines a luxury resort with an immersion in an authentic Star Wars environment. It will invite you to live your own dedicated multi-day adventure in a galaxy far, far away. It's unlike anything that exists today.
Did you catch that line?
It's unlike anything that exists today.
And that was the problem. It was multi-day immersive theater mixed with interactive live-action role-playing. This wasn't something you could easily convey in a 30-second ad like a new attraction or nighttime show. I mean, remember the commercial that was so bad Disney had to completely pull it from the internet? Then there was the welcome video that made for some interesting comments on YouTube. The quality of the video just didn't fit with the high-end experience you just paid $5,000 for. Sometimes when something is so new and unfamiliar, people just aren't willing to take a risk on it. So how could Disney have fixed this? Instead, they needed to create a marketing sales funnel. Disney needed to cast a wide net to get people into the sales funnel, and a traditional marketing strategy just wasn't going to cut it for something so revolutionary. Instead of only having one type of voyage, Disney could have had 2. One that was the full price 2-day voyage that we got, but another that was a shorter, less expensive voyage. That voyage would have been the top of the funnel. Think of it like an appetizer. It could have been a dinner show with a special performance from Wani and the chance to interact with a few characters like Wraith Cole. If it was, say, a few $100s, people would be more likely to give it a try. Not only would it have allowed Disney to reach thousands of potential guests, but it would also have helped people on the fence feel more comfortable about signing up for the full experience. Getting more people comfortable with what the Starcruiser experience was would have helped drive them further down the sales funnel to a full voyage. Disney could have also used things like surveys to gauge interest and then targeted offers like discounts during slow periods or promotions like free photo shoots to guests to further entice them to book the full experience. This brings us to our second suspect. The experience was just too niche. On the surface, it doesn't seem like it would be too difficult to find enough people to keep the Halcyon booked. A fully booked year of voyages would be roughly 60 to 70,000 people. That's not too far off from the average daily attendance at the Magic Kingdom. I can just imagine some Disney executive sitting in an office saying, "Millions of people love Star Wars. Booking this hotel will be the easiest thing we've ever done." Disney was looking at it like this. Sure, the overlap between fans of Star Wars and people who vacation at Disney is huge, but the Galactic Starcruiser really isn't targeting that entire audience. You also need to factor in people who enjoy LARPing, and those who enjoy creating an entire backstory for their characters, and those who have family or friends who will go along with them, and, well, you get the idea. By the time you factor all of this in, the target audience becomes so small that it becomes difficult to maintain the levels you need to keep the experience running. The original press around the opening really emphasized this issue. While reporters were talking about how great it was, almost all of them mentioned the need to fully commit to really have a good time. The implication was if you were somebody that wanted to be a passive participant, you were wasting your money. Disney should have realized that the true target audience was too niche and found ways to expand that diagram. They could have put more activities on the ship that people not interested in participating in the active story could have done. This would have helped more families justify going when only 1 or 2 family members were really interested in immersing themselves. Another idea that would have been really easy to implement would have been to create character sheets for anyone intimidated by creating their own immersive character. Ultimately, your backstory could have been as simple as complex as you wanted, but the knowledge of not knowing if it's good enough is intimidating and could have prevented you from initializing those early interactions with the cast, which are key to having a great experience. Disney could easily have made characters for every passenger on board and then had them available for anybody that wanted to use one. Another benefit of these character sheets would have been fixing our third suspect, repeatability. Done right, people would have wanted to come back to play as a different character. Disney needed guests to go on board the Halcyon multiple times, just like they do with any of their theme parks. But by having a fixed storyline, a lot of people viewed it as a one and done experience. Sure, there were more storylines than you could do on one voyage, so you could go back and get a slightly different experience. But at the end of the day, it always ended the same way. The First Order was stopped and the Resistance prevailed. There really was no reward for visiting again. Disney could have fixed this issue by having a few different endings, including one where the First Order prevails. That way guests would want to come back to see how each ending plays out. The YouTube channel Fresh Baked talked about this when he discussed how Disney could have gamified the experience more. Having the makeup of the guest impact the story would have been a great hook to get people to come back. Maybe one voyage has a large group of First Order supporters who complete all of their missions better than the Resistance support on the ship. This should be rewarded by having the First Order succeed. Or maybe everyone is just there to see Gaia, so she plays a larger role in the final act. Even having a few more actors for additional storylines or having special storylines that only become unlocked during a second or third voyage would have gone a long way to making this feel like an experience you needed to do again and again. The personal interactions with the crew are what people love most about the Starcruiser. But with characters like Linka Mock and Captain Kevin being tied up in bridge trainings, it can push larger groups of people to the characters that are available, which makes it more difficult to engage with them in a one-on-one capacity. Being able to spread the crowds out across a few more characters would create more of the wow moments for guests, which would make these people more likely to come back and tell others how great the experience of the Starcruiser is. Which brings us to our fourth suspect. Location, location, location. While putting the Halcyon in Disney World next to Galaxy's Edge seemed like the most logical choice, I think this is what ultimately doomed it. Disney thought people would view a 2-day voyage on the Halcyon as an add-on to their Walt Disney World vacation, but instead most people viewed it as a replacement. Due to the high cost, the idea of a trip on the Starcruiser or a trip to Disney World became an either-or choice instead of both. And that was the problem. By putting the Galactic Starcruiser in Disney World, everybody compared the two, which made it an even tougher sell. Because when you have the choice between a brand new experience that even Disney had trouble marketing versus a week at your favorite theme parks where you know exactly what you're going to get, you're going to pick the latter. So while it may have seemed counterintuitive, I actually think Disney should have built this thing somewhere they don't have a theme park. This would have helped people view it as a different vacation, like a cruise or an Adventures by Disney, which would have made it easier for Disney to sell. They could have tried New York City, where immersive theater is more common and people may have been more likely to give something new a try. Or how about put it in San Francisco and adding an exclusive visit to Lucasfilm as part of the trip? The chance to see where these films were made would get Star Wars fans so excited and make it easier to justify the high price point. I can't take any more of this. I'll just say they all did it, okay? Are you happy now?